Welcome all for the 17th edition of Medgini's webinar, which we have been doing consistently since last January. And this particular topic is of interest to our viewers who have voted very strongly, which is Pharma Brand Visibility 2025. This particular year is going to be different, going to disrupt the way we are doing business, and for which we are here to talk about something which will be of 100% relevance to your business. So with that, we would like to now start our webinar. Before I start, I would like to know a little background about you. So please help me understand you better. Please put in the chat with regard to your location and what exactly you do. So it will help us connect with you. And also one more request, which is coming from our speakers, if you can please keep your video on because they are scared to talk to blank screens. So if you can please keep your video on, it will help us to connect with you better. So please put in your location and your particular background in the chat. And I would like to put myself first. Okay, so we have my team here, Surya, Renuka, who has joined in. So we've got about 134 registrations for this particular webinar, and people will be joining in shortly. We've got more than 28 people. I request all of you to please put in your background, your name, your location, and where are you joining us from. So we'll give another 1 minute for people to introduce themselves, and I request all of you to keep your videos on, which will help us connect you better. And welcome, Devidas. Welcome, Ravali. Welcome, Vikrant. Vikrant has joined us from Indore. Welcome. Please put in your location as well as your background in the chat. Krishna, who has joined us from Raipur, is the area sales manager. Welcome, Krishna. Welcome, Abdullah Sheikh from Ajanta Pharma. He's joined us from Mumbai. Vivek, who has joined us from Chennai. So we have people who are joining us from all parts of India today. And we are really grateful for you to have here. Tanmay, who has joined us from Mumbai. Sheetal, who has joined us from Ahmedabad. She is from the P&T department. Welcome, Sheetal. Great. With that, I would like to introduce what exactly is the 5 key major benefits that you as viewers or you as participants will be getting being with us today. This particular Medgini webinar is very special because this has been crafted with 2 months of efforts in terms of understanding what exactly is the topic, selecting the right speakers, getting the right content for you today. So with that, I would like to now tell you what exactly is the structure and what is the benefits that you will be getting from this webinar today. We are talking about a roadmap which will help you improve your prescriptions and visibility with the help of segmentation. We are also going to deep dive into brand positioning, which we are going to talk with real-time cases. There is also an interesting workshop which one of our speakers have crafted to help you analyze what exactly is your current growth for your particular brand. So this is going to be very interactive, and all of you, if you are having any questions, please park it in the chat and my team will pick it up and we will take all your particular questions by end of this particular webinar. The schedule of this particular webinar is from 12 to 1:10, 1:15, and post which we'll be taking all your questions. We will be able to take these questions end of the webinar. And along with this benefits, we have got 2 more additional bonus for you. So one is the eBook, which will be crafted based on the conversations that we are going to have today with the speakers and also from the participants. We will also be giving the latest book from Subbarao on the latest hot topic, which is AI, Whispering to AI. So this is a book which has just come into the market and we are going to launch it for the first time in our webinar today, which is from Subbarao sir. And we have been following his books from the time we have started our journey in pharma marketing. So there will be 3 winners who will be able to get this particular book for their active participation when we are going to talk about activity where you need to give your responses. The people who will be participating, they will be getting this particular book, a hard copy, not a soft one, a hard copy to your doorstep. So please be attentive for you to get this particular book. With that, I would like to now introduce myself. I am heading organization Medgini, which is based out of Hyderabad and Mumbai. Started off in 2012. My journey starts with telecom as well as IT industry. I have transitioned from being an employee to an employer. I have worked across various geographies, India, Middle East, and Africa. I passed out from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management and done marketing communication in 2004. I live in Hyderabad with my parents, my wife, and two little sons. So, with regard to hobbies, interest, and passion, this is something which my speakers wanted me to add here. So, I am deeply passionate about cycling, dancing, and reading. So, this is something about me. With that, I would now like to invite and introduce our first speaker for the session. And with no hold, I would now like to introduce Samina Ansari. Samina Ansari is a dynamic strategist with over 13 years of experience in healthcare marketing. Currently, she is serving as a zone brand leader for Entero Germina. She successfully relaunched Entero Germina, regaining category leadership in just 18 months, and previously led Telma growth in Glenmark from 91 crores to 350 crores over 7 years. This is remarkable. With deep expertise in brand strategy, brand marketing, life cycle management, and HCP engagement, Samina is known for her purpose driven, consumer first approach that builds impactful, lasting brands. Her work has earned her the Bravo Award from Sanofi, 5 Brand Plan Awards at Glenmark, consecutively from 2016 to 2021. She has been honored by AVAX in Marketing Excellence in 2018. She has also won Woman in Corporate Award in 2019. She has also received the Guinness World Record in 2018. She has been working with great organizations like Apoila Sanofi, Glenmark, Abbott, FDC. And with that, I would like to now welcome Samina. Samina, such a deep expertise that you have gained over the past 13 years. I would like to understand what exactly are your hobbies and interests which makes you life.
Thank you so much for such a humble, such a kind, introduction. I think for me, it's something that always has fueled my drive to do better than ever. What we have been doing in the past is about passion, the passion that, instills inside for building brands for communities at large so that they can benefit the larger society and make life better for individuals. That's something, that's passion that I live every day with each or every brand that I work in different categories. When it comes to hobbies, I think, as a mother of two kids, for me, one aspect is to be able to spend great time with my kids, ensuring that I'm able to give them enough time, nurture them, and love, see them grow up. At the same time, I have my own, this habit of writing short poems. That's my way for me to, express in words how I feel about the work I do, how I feel about my family, my kids, seeing them grow up, and all that emotions. That's something that I love doing. And yeah, this is about me.
Thank you very much, Ashish. First of all, it's an honor and privilege. I was very impressed by the way what spoke about Samina because we have also worked together. Very happy to see that she achieving big heights in the industry, both in personal as well as professional space. Very happy for you, Samina. Second is that I think overall it has been a great journey for the last 27 years, whether it is in sales, marketing, and project management. But I think most important thing what I've realized is that it's a teams which make a difference. It's a brands which make a difference. So both in personal as well as professional life, I try to balance those stuff. If I talk about my personal life, I am a marathoner. I've completed my 21 kilometers half marathon. I've completed and qualified for 42 kilometers. In health space, I try to take care of my health by running, by dancing. That the way you dance, I also dance. Maybe we'll dance together sometime. And as far as my passion is concerned, I love to see that team members they become successful. My main objective is that I should be able to contribute or give back to the society by whatever knowledge I have gained in the industry. And last but not the least, but most important is my family, because whatever I do, they are my triggers. So they are my driving force of whatever I have achieved in my life. And I'm sure the way they are supporting will be able to do a lot of great stuff personally as well as professionally. Thank you, Ashish.
Great. So family is definitely a big foundation for all of us, and your particular hobbies really resonates with me. Though I've not started my marathon, but definitely it is there in my checklist. It's a good inspiration for us to hear from you, Dinesh sir, today.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very
Welcome.
much. Yeah. Call me Dinesh. Yeah.
Sure, Dinesh. So, with that, we would like to introduce the topic today. This topic of pharma brand visibility in 2025 was suggested by our viewers in the last webinar because they are a lot of things which the brand managers or the marketing team, group product managers would like to understand in terms of how large organizations are able to do it seamlessly. It is based on their global expertise or the leadership who actually guides them to do things better. While we are talking and interviewing with many people from the industry, that's our job. We have been talking with people from large organization as well as mid-size organization. What we understand, the approach, what they have taken towards brand visibility is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. We have all learned that, we have experienced that this forms the basis of marketing, and in pharma it is no different. This is very much relevant today, though this is very basic that we are going to talk about. We are going to deep dive with real time cases today with the help of Dinesh as well as Samina. So we are talking about how brands take the mind share of the people. While we are talking about segmentation, targeting, and positioning, the format of this particular webinar will be interactive, where we'll be asking certain questions which has come from the participants. So while we have announced this particular webinar more than 3 weeks back, these are certain questions which has come from the participants. And I'm happy that most of them are there with us, being a weekend, they are there with us today. And with that, I would like to now start with Dinesh sir in terms of what has changed. So you have seen about 3 decades, you have started your career on the field, and you are now serving as a vice president. You have worked in large organization. So, Dinesh sir, what exactly you have felt that what has changed?
So, thank you very much, Ashish, for asking this particular question. I think over a period of time, what I really want to highlight that what thing exactly has changed. That in our scenario earlier, what we were trying to do were like we were trying to follow a uniform thing, uniform strategy for all the customer segments. And that's the thing which currently in a current scenario, I don't think so it is working. Let me try to start this with a particular quote, which I have written. It says that, when you try to be everything to everyone, you accomplish being nothing to anyone. So, it actually has changed drastically over a period of time, because earlier we were actually classifying doctors on the basis of only specialities. That it's a cardiac, or it's a gynecologist, or it's a pediatrician. But nowadays there are a lot of other things which actually needs to be seen. And according to me, the brand management team, although they love to do that, they are aware of it. Whatever I'm going to share today, it's not like that team, which is on the screen, they don't know about it. Unfortunately, they don't get time, or maybe if I'm allowed to use a word, they don't prioritize. So as a result of it, because of the pressures what they face, on day-to-day scenarios from their bosses, hope their bosses are not in the call, but the kind of pressures what they face, actually this creates a lot of problem. Because let me share with you, currently, you also agree that if you love pizza and or if I offer you pasta, I think that's not right. So similarly, doctors, we should consider doctors as human beings. We should not consider that every doctors is same, and they are not. Not all the doctors are same. Because if I talk about overall their prescribing habits, their speciality, of course, their interest, and that's what I would like to elaborate, their interest, their engagement behaviors, they're absolutely different. So, unless or until there is a segmentation which is being done, which is customized to the specific need of the specialty or specific need, I don't think so we'll be able to create a cutting edge in our brand plans. So my strong request, if I would like to say, is that we should, if we really want to communicate more effectively, number one, if we really want to optimize our visit on the representatives. Now, let me give you one example. I was in Morena, recently with my team member working over there. And there is a famous doctor, and maybe somebody from Morena can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the name of the doctor was Dr. Rathi. And I was counting that how many representatives were standing over there. So when I counted, I was the 39th, one, and I chose to be 39th. Okay, I said that let me go over there and talk to the doctor. So I spoke to him. I said, sir, of course, I've come from Indore, I've come from Bombay. You have got almost 40 representatives who have seen, who have gone over there, and I'm the, 40th one. So almost everyone shared with you almost three brands. So 120 brands have been exposed to you. How do you differentiate? How do you remember this? Now, one of the things which actually came out very, very clearly is, Dinesh, and I'll try to speak in Hindi also for some people, because doctors की language में बोलूंगा तो शायद आपको definitely it will resonate with you more. He says, यार कौन याद करता है actual में? I think हम उन्हीं को याद करते हैं who basically are taking care of our needs, our interests. If they are speaking about our interest, if they are unfortunately, out of 40 जो अभी गए हैं, actually 25-30 को तो हमने सुना ही नहीं. And I think that is what is the issue which currently, we as brand management team or the entire organization, the pharmaceutical industry is facing. So if you really have to have a cutting edge, it is extremely crucial to communicate more effectively, to utilize the representative time, and also to drive adoption strategically. I think it is extremely crucial to tailor our communication accordingly. Because one of my brand manager who can see you on you who you also can see on screen. He also, Vikas is there on the screen, and that's why I'm addressing him. He keeps on saying that, I think we should not adopt a spray and pray strategy. It doesn't work. Spray and pray strategy will not be able to make brand managers utilize their resources effectively. So according to me, this has changed drastically. And I would, as a nugget, strongly recommend the brand managers कि बॉस ब्रांड को सक्सेसफुल अगर बनाना है तो you have to segment the customers very, very clearly. That's what I would like to say, Ashish.
Perfect. So I think the importance what you are sharing with us is segmentation. There is definitely the spray and pray approach never works. And very specifically in pharma, we have seen our customers, be it doctors or be it the chemist, they behave very differently. We are sitting in a country where every state is a country. So we need to understand the culture. We need to understand their habits, their demographic, as well as the psychographic. With that, uh, I would like to invite all of you in terms of interesting workshop where it will give you analysis of where do you stand with regard to your brand. So this particular activity has been crafted with the help of Samina and Dinesh, and this will definitely evolve you in terms of knowing what are the important checklist for the brand. So with that, I would like to share my screen and also request my team to share a link. The purpose of that particular link is to help you participate across 10 different parameters which are important for your brand growth. The people who are participating, there is no right, there is no wrong thing in this particular thing, and we are not going to give award based on the people who get the highest score. So please be true to yourself, and this activity is only for you, 100% confidential, and this is something which will give you a reflection. This will give you a score immediately after participating in. I would request my team to please put the link on the chat so that they can participate. If you are unable to scan, please click on the link which is being shared in the chat. This has got 10 questions which we are asking across various components, which Dinesh as well as Samina feels it is very critical when it comes to the brand growth. So your brand can be a new launch or can be a existing brand or maybe in a decline stage. But what are the things that you have to be very mindful about? So please do participate. We have got 5 minutes. Will that be okay, Dinesh ji? Right. So 5 to 7 minutes, we would like to give it to you. Please participate. You have got three options against each questions. You have to just put in your name and then participate in that particular questions. If you have any doubts, please put in the chat and our team will be able to assist you. And after you are
Guys,
done,
I would like to say that be very honest and true to yourself. It is
yeah,
because we're not assessing anyone. It is for you only, to see that you are able to perform better, and that's why we wanted this to be an interactive communication.
right. So unlike all other webinars where we are talking about giving knowledge, we wanted to give you knowledge where you can apply it tomorrow and take the learnings to take your brand to the next level. So that's why we are here. And with that intention, I would request all of you to participate. And if you are done, please type in done. And our people would like to give you 7 minutes. And after 7 minutes, we will have a deep down discussion about segmentation, targeting, and positioning, which will be very much relevant with cases which Dinesh as well as Samina has seen in their career. Post which you can obviously ask questions. You can park the questions to the speakers end of the webinar, or you can do that in between as well. But the questions can be taken up after we complete the webinar. So the time starts and we have 5 minutes for you. Please do participate. If you have any issue, please put in the chat. While you are done, I would invite people to also type done as well as the score. So there is no right or wrong, or probably we are not judging you here. But if you can put type in your score as well. This is just a self-reflection activity, which will probably help you change the needle. Vaibhav, thank you so much. You are at 11. Congratulations. You are at 8. Manoj, you are at 8. Shweta, you are at 14. Shifa, you are at 14. Tanmay, you are at 9. Thank you so much. And Mithal, if you remember your score, you can put it here. Mithal and Shweta and Shifa has completed this. And if you are among the fastest three people, you may also get a chance to win this book at your doorstep. We'll be announcing the winners at the end of the webinar, which is scheduled to get over by around 1:15, 1:20, depends on the questions that we are getting from participants. So we got about 60 people here today who has joined us today from various parts of India. And if you have any difficulty, please put in the chat. If you have any technical difficulty or any understanding difficulty, please put in the chat. Thank you, Mithal. You are at 7. Vivek, you are at 14. Congrats. Rajesh, you are at 14. Congrats. Prajakta, you are at 15. Great. Rohit, 15. Great. So we have another 2 minutes. People do please participate. It's definitely a good activity for you to understand where do you stand. And this particular session is also recorded, which will be uploaded in our YouTube channel for you to review things up. Devidas, you are at 14. I am happy people are not having any technical difficulty or any understanding difficulty. We definitely deliberated from past 3 days to ensure that the language is simple enough for people to understand and participate. This has purely come from the experience of Dinesh as well as Samina. We have just technically turned around for you, and this entire scoring as well as the questions are drafted and communicated by Dinesh and Samina. So the entire credit goes to you. And with their permission, we will also be sharing this particular questions to you to take up this particular activity later in your brand growth while you are doing brand planning also. Can you do this on a weekly, monthly basis, which we will deep dive while we are taking up this particular discussion with Dinesh and Samina. Right. So we would like to now move forward because of the paucity of time. When we are talking about segmentation, in segmentation, there are various components which we have to be mindful about. We would like to now ask Dinesh, in terms of when it comes to segmentation, what according to you is the need to segment doctors in the pharmaceutical space? So people say that I am in acute therapy or I am in chronic therapy, and my products are more related to diabetology. So what is the need to again dissect and understand what exactly is segmentation for doctors? Over to you, Dinesh.
Thank you, Ashish. Thank you very much. Uh, I'm sure that a lot of other people have joined. So welcome, guys, to this webinar. It's an extremely important question. As I was sharing during the start of the presentation, that not all doctors are same. Their prescribing habits are very different. Their specialty, and that is very simple. We all differentiate them on the basis of specialty. Do we know these doctors? Their interests are very, very different. In the new, Gen Z era, that's what I call, their engagement styles are very, very different. Now, I think most important thing, the need of segmentation is there, because if we don't do that, we'll not be able to communicate effectively about brand promise. We'll not be able to have a customized communication to them. We'll not be able to have a digital outreach, which is extremely crucial nowadays. We need to, whatever campaigns we as brand managers design, if we really want to have a desired ROI of that particular campaign, and we want to have specific measurable parameters to judge the effectiveness, we need to segment the doctors accordingly and design the campaigns as per their need, their interest areas, their engagement behaviors, our money, whatever money we get. I think whatever brand size you handle, whatever therapies you handle, I don't think so we get more than, some brands, the new brands may get around 10, 12 percentage or 15 percentage, but majority of brands actually get around 6 to 7 percentage of their overall promo expenses. Unless or until that the utilization of those resources is being done in the right direction, which according to me, is segmentation, will not be able to get a desired result, which is the increase in market share. So, according to me, and also one of the important thing is if we really want to optimize our representative visit, because we design the strategies assuming that he will deliver the way we want him to deliver. Unless or until we are very clear that to this particular doctor, this communication needs to be done in this particular channel, will not be able to create a cutting edge. So that's an exact need to segment doctors. And my only request is that whenever you are preparing your brand plans, and I would strongly urge each one of you that please give some time, and this is a passionate brand manager, not a vice president speaking to you. Right, I would really want you that whenever you are preparing your brand plans, please give separate time. And when you're presenting the brand plan to your seniors, take segmentation as a most important crucial thing, because people interest have changed. People interest have changed. If Samina's interest is to write short poems, my interest is to run marathon, and Ashish interest is to actually read. So they are very, very different. And if you do a same kind of a communication to all three of us, your brands doesn't reach us. So that's an important need, according to me, to segment the doctors in the current scenario. Ashish, you are mute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That every people are different, and need to understand your target audience is very, very important in terms of demographic, in terms of psychographic. We would like to understand what, according to you, are the key segmentation dimensions. So, can you please share it to us with examples and how companies look at segmentation? So, you have worked in various organizations, be it MNCs or be it large companies in India. So, how do they look at segmentation, and is this the activity which they do it on a regular basis, or how do they take it up?
Sure, sure. I think it's a very interesting question. You can remove the screen, and I'll request everybody to please open up their videos, because if possible, I think that's a prize from my side. If you open up your videos, and I'll be very happy to communicate to you, because we keep on speaking. Difficult to speak to the tiles, but yeah, let me try. I've requested for some people to open up. Let's see. So coming to your question, Ashish, it's a very
Thank you.
very it's a very interesting question, Ashish, because see, what happens is that when, as I share, that we basically segment the doctor on the basis of specialty only. I think that's a very cliche way of doing the segmentation nowadays. That we say that he is a GP, he is a pediatric, he is a gynecologist, right? He is a GP with pediatric practice. He's a GP with gynae practice. That's one way. We have been doing this since ages, and that is pretty simple. And we allocate all the resources accordingly. Now, that's a one way of segmentation, which currently happens. It's a basic segmentation. Second way is that, and I'm talking about the previous organizations or current organization, or the direction what we give to the team members is that please categorize your team to your doctors into A, B, and C category, or high, medium, and low prescribing category. I think that's also one of the different segmentation which brand managers, they generally keep on doing it. कि भाई जो ज्यादा लिखता है तो हाई प्रिस्क्राइबर हो गया, लो वॉल्यूम हो गया, मीडियम हो गया, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. That is done, but according to me, that's a basic. That's not a need of the hour at this point of time. At this point of time, it's actually their engagement behavior. This is the most important thing, and the interest. Although I try to speak about that, taking our examples, but it is the interest and the engagement behaviors of the people. Let me give you one example. And I'm talking of my Abbott days. When I was trying to build up a dentistry portfolio, in the organization. In that point of time, and the categorization of doctors, what my brand manager, I'm not very sure whether he's on the call or not, although I sent an invite to him. But in terms of there are three different categories in which we segmented the doctors. Number one, we wanted to see that the KOLs, KOLs, we do not treat them the way we generally treat a young doctors, or we generally don't treat the doctors who wanted to establish their practice. So for the KOLs, and I'll just say that we the KOLs were endodontists, those doctors who those brand managers who know about the dentistry a little bit. So endodontists are the doctors who basically do a root canal treatment. We actually selected a doctor. I'll name the doctor also, Dr. P.D. Joshi. He is a famous endodontist of Mumbai. We said that he is very good in conducting the workshop, the hands-on workshop, because RCT was not, it used to happen in so many sittings, and he basically was specializing in a single sitting RCT. So we actually selected him. We segmented the doctors into KOLs, where we selected certain KOLs, endodontist, implantologist, and we curated specific workshops for the need of the doctors in different parts of the country. And we basically conducted them workshops where we invited those doctors to learn from them so that their practices increase. So what happened as a result of it, those doctors who are interested in that, their practice increased, the footfall of the patient increased. The third category of the patient was young. The doctors were young dentists, which are in the medical colleges and all those things. So we took these doctors also to the medical colleges so that they're able to share their experiences, to these particular doctors, through their practical experience or through the communication. I tell you, as a result to which the position at that time was Piramal, the position of Piramal actually increased significantly in dentistry. So it was not a specific, it was not an overall generalized approach. Generally what happens is we as brand managers, we have got X rupees, and we say, okay, this should go into the inputs, this should go into the bonus, this should go into the samples, and then and this should go into the high prescriber, this should go into the low prescribers. But the most important thing what we miss is the need of the specific doctor, the engagement style, what exactly a customer prefers, what is his interest area. And please understand, a representative will not be able to do that. He is an executor. It is our responsibility to go to the drawing board, sit with our senior people, take their experiences, go to the field, get a consumer insight, do a proper analysis, and on the basis of that, please, in your playbook, would like to say the winning strategy, please incorporate this particular element very, very effectively, because it is not the brand. You talk about organizations today also. And I was reading somewhere, and somebody from, maybe a Dr. Reddy's, if somebody is there, he can actually correct if I am wrong. They say that, they basically are segmenting the doctors on the basis of years of practice. That if it is from, if somebody is from 0 to 5 years, okay, this should be the strategy. If it is between 6 to 11 years, this should be the strategy. If it is between 12 to 15 years, this should be the strategy. Or more than 15 years, this should be the strategy. Similarly, I was in Abbott, and I know that the kind of digital engagements, what we were doing, and we were not doing uniform. We were actually doing on the basis of segmentation of doctors. That these are the KOLs. Also, geographical segmentation to the urban population, urban doctors. We actually were focusing on the scientific stuff, but for rural doctors, we were actually focusing on the ease of accessibility, the storage part, you know, the availability part. I think we mix it, and I'll ask a very, very, it's a tough question which I'm going to ask to each one of us, and I have done it, and I'm saying it because I've been there, done that. Have you ever prepared different visual aid for depending upon segmentation? That is a big thing. Oh, very good, Mithil. I'm very happy if you have prepared different visual aid, not for specialty, but I'm talking about the target segment, and we are saying that to a particular representative in a urban market, that if this is a practice, you communicate this. If this is one thing, you communicate this. I think that is the cutting edge which will make a difference. So currently, if I have to speak about overall in terms of the segmentation, it is in terms about your overall, if I'm allowed to use the word, the prescribing behavior, segmentation by prescribing behavior, segmentation by specialty, segmentation by their interest, segmentation by engagement behavior, and last but not the least, segmentation by geography. There's one more, there are a lot of examples actually. I can keep on speaking, and then Samina will say that you've taken my time, but I'm very, very passionate to speak about this because this has helped me to build big brands in my space. I can speak about how Sun Pharma actually has occupied a entire education space. And that's a different kind of a space. If a doctor needs anything in education, they go for Sun Pharma. I think that's why how the organizations also are segmenting their customers. So even they are doing it, if I have to build my brand, today I don't have an option. I really don't have an option. I have to segment the brand. And according to my experience, these are the five things I said I'll speak to the audience today.
So, with that, Dinesh, thank you so much for sharing, though it's very diverse that we are talking about in terms of how we look at segmentation and how companies look at segmentations depends on the culture of the organization, the stage of the particular brand,
Yep.
based on which you are able to do segmentation. But this is something which we cannot get rid with. And this forms as a basis if you want to really do marketing, which will make more sense to your target audience. So segmentation, how exactly this segmentation in pharma enhance brand visibility? So can you give us some examples based on what you have been there, done that with large organizations, keeping confidentiality in mind? How exactly segmentation can help pharma enhance brand visibility among HCPs or chemists?
Sure, sure. So I'll say that you can remove the screen over here, and what I did was I was thinking that of course, if when such kind of question comes, I should be able to give some nuggets to people. I should be able to give nuggets to people so that they remember. And I'm giving you an assignment, of course, that I do on daily basis. But today also I'm giving you one thing. I want you to take a pen and write whatever I'm trying to say from this will be a 6 points which I have made to answer this particular question. First one, number one, according to me, is, we, instead of broadcasting our generic message, we should be very specific. So it says that focus targeting is equal to brand recall. If we are able to target absolutely, clear crystal clear, it will actually lead to a higher brand recall. For example, if they are specialist, have a communication to the specialist. If you have a general practitioners, have a communication tailored to the general practitioners. If they are general practitioners who are practicing as specialists or diabetologists or cardiologists, have a specific communication to tailor to that. So this will increase the frequency and relevance of exposure. It will improve the visibility. That's number one. Second point is multi-channel presence tailored by segment is equal to improved engagement. Now, I gave you example of my, one of the example of dentistry I gave, and I'll give you one more example. Me and my team member, actually, they are handling probiotics currently. Now, probiotics actually, they can be prescribed by a specialist in different indications. They can all be prescribed by a general practitioners. However, the engagement styles are very, very different. You know, what exactly, what exactly my brand manager has done. He actually has divided them into KOLs, into mid-level GPs, as well as the digital first doc. So his strategy is absolutely different from these for all these three customers. For a KOLs, he's designing a scientific journals as well as CMEs for and also WhatsApp updates. For mid-level GPs, it's in clinic detailing. So a lot of time is being spent. We have started something called Patshala for our team members. Where we want to improve the in-clinic effectiveness of the team members for the mid-level GPs, not for the KOLs as such, because for them we have got CMEs and etc. etc. And for digital first docs, in terms of webinars, in terms of mobile apps, because they are very, we see that they are absolutely digital savvy. So a customized communication, the omni-channel marketing, Ashish, which you keep on speaking every time. I think what you say is that same size will not fit all. I think that's the second example of that. So the second point I shared, multi-channel presence tailored by segment is equal to improved engagement. The third point is that which a lot of brand managers, including me also, when I try to work on the brand, we try to do that. It's personalized content is equal to deeper brand impressions. Do we have a personalized content, tailored to the doctor? If yes, it will actually make a deeper brand impressions, and that's what I would like to, highlight. Sometimes, maybe sometimes it goes beyond scientific also, because the doctor's preferences, the personal preferences, although this is separate, is not a part of this particular program. But sometimes about the personal preferences of the customer. And when you speak about it, when you research about it, it builds a deeper brand connections. And maybe if time permits, I'll give you example of that from my medical representative days. So it helps you doing that also. That's the third point. Fourth point is that, which also I have written, is is uh, optimal frequency. Optimal frequency to the doctor is equal to increase respect for the representative. Optimal frequency leads to increased respect for representative. For the brand managers, the fifth one, efficient resource allocation. Efficient resource allocation leads to reduced assumptions. The thing what I was talking about, to that spray and pray and all those things. If you're able to optimize the resources, it will it will reduce the assumptions and it will increase your market share, increase your brand profits. So that's a formula which I have tried to build on that. Last but not the least, which I will, of course, I will also ask after that Samina to come into picture, is that it's better positioning. Better positioning will definitely lead to better recall. Better positioning will definitely lead to better recall. And I want to highlight the final one. It says that if I talk about, if you do a proper segmentation, it leads to relevance. Relevance will lead to attention. Attention will lead to visibility, and visibility will lead to your prescriptions. So, I thought that I'll try to do something so that we are able to at least practice something from tomorrow, one thing or the other, so that these things, because we are like, we as brand managers, PMT, we're so much occupied in doing so many things. But if we are able to do things in advance, we do things segmentation properly, I think we'll be able to do a fantastic job. That's it from my side. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you so much. I think the main point which you have shared with us today, Dinesh, is basically segmentation, which leads to relevance, which in turn leads to attention and visibility. And we are looking for a high increase in prescription. And this is the step-by-step approach which you have shared with us today. Thank you so much. This is something which I am learning today for the first time, having organized this for so many times and having hosted more than 18, 20 people. I'm hearing it for the first time. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you, Ashish.
With
Thanks.
that, we would now like to invite Samina. And Samina, we are now talking about the important area of targeting and positioning in pharma brand visibility. There are two questions which has come from the participants. What role does positioning play in building brand equity and trust? So this is very critical for us to build upon brand equity, which will give you long-term results, not short-term benefits. And how can precision targeting improve marketing and sales effort? These are all about long-term efforts and long-term rewards. So with that, we would request you to please share your insights on these two areas. Samina, you have prepared in detail about targeting and positioning, which you would also like to address this particular question. I will moderate this particular presentation with you.
All right. Thank you so
Welcome.
much, Ashish. And Dinesh sir, I think has fantastically covered a lot of points in segmentation and practical applications of it. In fact, some of those overlapping with what I'm gonna share, and I'm sure it added a lot of value and direction to the folks who have joined in for the call here today. So guys, we are talking about segmentation, targeting, and positioning, STP as we call it. Sir has covered, very comprehensively segmentation. And just to take it from there, what is segmentation in one single line? It is about dividing your market into distinct group of customers, right? What we do targeting is the very next step after segmentation, where from those distinct group of customers which have been divided in segmentation, you identify the most important or most potential target segments to focus your marketing efforts on. Okay. So in short, if I have to say, targeting is a choice that every brand manager makes when they are prioritizing a set of customers and deprioritizing or deciding which set of customers they will ignore while they are designing, communicating, and delivering their brand offerings. Okay, so it's about whom we prioritize and whom we ignore when we are working on the entire, comms and strategy of the brand. I've called out you will see a couple of examples within industry, outside industry, some lying in the middle in the OTC space. So just kind of trying to cover up different examples in just without calling out brand names effectively, in the interest. So when we look, how do we put up targeting? When we look at this guy who you see on the screen, okay, there is a population of men around or women or folks around, right? When we are talking about if we can go back on the previous slide, sorry. Yeah, so here we are talking about a product which is focused on stopping or the smoking habit of an individual. And what you see on the right side is a group, a target group identified from the market. This is group of individuals who are actively seeking to quit smoking. Okay, so that's how you identify. This is the most potential space or target segment for you. If you go out to other set of people who are smoking, but are not really looking forward to stop smoking, the kind of efficiency or effectiveness of your campaign may not be the same when you target these. These have higher ability or higher probabilities for you to be able to convert them into stopping smoking. Okay, so if we can go now on the next slide. There are a couple of examples and very, very traditional old ways when you look at pharma or healthcare category, okay? One is at the level of doctor specialty. And if we call out example is an iron supplement for adults, okay? When you consider this, which is the most potent doctor specialty, if we look at targeting by doctor specialty, which is that most potential specialty of doctors for you, it's gynecologist probably, yes. But when we look at a multivitamin supplement, it's probably a GP who would drive higher efficiencies, isn't it? Now, this is one way of looking at it. Now, the world is going deeper, right? And Sir touched upon a lot of these points already, where when you look at within gynecologists, there is a further segmentation that you can do and identify most potent sub-segment there, right? So when we call out, for example, anti-diabetics, okay? There is, for example, a teneligliptin or a dapagliflozin, okay? And you look at diabetologist. Diabetologist is your, by doctor specialty, the target segment. You can further segment them as believers and non-believers, the ones who are using it, the ones who are not using it, and then look at which are the ones you want to target. Do you want to target those who are already prescribing dapagliflozin, or you want to go for somebody who is not prescribing? Again, depends on where you stand. It's all interconnected with various elements that we have in the brand planning process, but then it flows down from where you stand. Are you a leader in dapagliflozin? If yes, you're already at a saturation level. So you may probably look at expanding it by looking at non-believers and trying to build your comms and plans in such a way that you're able to convert them into believers. Right. So this is how it sits, beyond doctor specialty. Then we look at patient type, we all know, right? There is an antibiotic syrup. It will be positioned for kids. When we look at a product which is telmisartan tablets for hypertension, it would be positioned for adults. I mean, that's something that we all know, right? But this is all sits in fundamentals. It's something that we do every day, but it's important for us to take cognizance of the fact that this is important for me to know. It's not something a given. It's something that's driven by process into the brand that I'm working on. Okay. And then comes channel. When we talk about channel, the world is evolving, right? We have products like something like a pain relief, which is given post surgery, is something that will be very strongly driven through prescription channel. Then other products which are driven through self-select, for example, a nutritional supplement would sit there, or a cough syrup or a skincare product, which will be driven through OTC. Nowadays, there is a model that exists where RX and OTC also exist together as channels working together to build it. Beyond that, when we look at doctors, there is one more very interesting, segmentation that comes in that helps you to target which set of doctors you want to target and accordingly customize your comms and your plans. Is the set of doctors who are still believing into traditional way of promotion. They are just wanting to meet the reps and drive the understanding and the recall on the brand. At the other side, there is an emerging set of HCPs who are coming up, who are looking at digital channels. Okay. And when this digital channel is coming up, are we using the same thing that we do inside the clinic and replicating it for those digital channels? Or are we customizing it for the way the channel needs to have the content for consumption? Now, that's an important question for us to consider, right? And these are the different ways I felt, I can touch upon very briefly, given the paucity of time that we have. But what are the benefits that it drives for us, when we are able to have precise resource allocation? Okay, it helps us to have resources where they matter the most, right? And that's when you will be able to optimize your marketing budgets, reduce wastage, and increase the ROI. I mean, one of the examples here, again, I would like to quote is high-end antibiotics. For them, you would go for a surgeon and not for a GP, isn't it? That's quite obvious. Now, these are some decisions that we need to keep in mind when we are working on it. Now, when we are able to reach out to a specific set of customers with our messaging, with our brand offerings, we are talking of engaging those set of HCPs in a more involved, personalized way and in a more relevant way. Now, when that happens, the brand connect with the HCP becomes stronger. And when that happens, it is why, the right message then reaches to the right set of doctors, and that builds trust, builds recall, and drives higher prescription conversion. And when we talk about India and the branded generics, every category in the healthcare industry is bombarded with n number of branded generics. And in such a scenario, what matters is how do we own up the space, the segment that we are targeting. How are we able to make our brand super relevant there? And when we are able to do this, we are able to build long lasting equity for the brand and long term differentiation. Now, this is what, on a very high level, I just felt like touching on targeting and call out, okay, when segmentation is about dividing the market into different set of distinct customers, targeting is about identifying those one or two important segments where we will focus all our marketing efforts and ignore the others, because that's going to drive efficiency for us. Okay. Once that happens, Ashish, we can move to the next slide. Comes positioning. Positioning is about how do you position the product in each of those identified segments you have done in the space in the step of targeting. Now here you will see an example of an aisle that you see of breakfast cereals. Okay, these are all breakfast cereals when you go to a supermarket. How are these breakfast cereals then positioned? When we talk about, for example, Kellogg's cornflakes, it is talking about positioning itself as a healthy start for the day for families, versus a Kellogg's Chocos, which is positioning it for fun-loving, kids' breakfast. Then you have Quaker Oats, which is fitting itself into an altogether different space of breakfast cereals, positioning it as for heart and health and calling it out rich with fiber and stuff like that. Now, these are the ways. They all look the same at the very first chance. They are all breakfast cereals, but when you go deeper, you see they are being positioned for different need states. For example, I would like to call upon the smartphones. When you look at smartphones, imagine yourself surrounded by smartphones, okay? And all of these smartphones, on the very first glance, they all are the same, right? They all look very similar to us. But then when you go deeper and see, each of the brands stands for something unique, and that's what makes positioning powerful. How? I will tell you. For example, when you talk about Apple, we know it's stylish, it's secure, it's premium, it's very modern. But when we come to Samsung, it is innovative. It's for tech lovers. It is, very powerful. Then when we talk about OnePlus whispers, oh, I am, having high-end, all the specs that you need, but without unnecessary cost. And then you have Xiaomi, which says, oh, I am here with great features at a great price. So they're all smartphones, isn't it? It's a quite a very close example to branded generics we deal with every day, right? They're all smartphones, but how they have been able to position themselves for a unique need and are positioning very different from each other. Now, that's what positioning is. It's about unique space your brand occupies in the minds of your customers. The way you would position, there is one example we call out over here already. The way you position a painkiller, which is given for post-surgery patients, would be very different to how you would position a painkiller which is given for everyday headache, right? So that is where brand positioning comes in. Now, I would actually like to take you through, if we can go on the next slide, there is this positioning matrix, which is very interesting. It goes deeper from where we call out brand positioning as a statement. It is a combination, a culmination of three things coming together. And this is something that follows from our brand planning process. First and foremost, when we sit and do brand positioning, it doesn't happen just like that. It has to have those fundamentals in place. A brand manager needs to know what customers want. Okay, what customers want. Then we need to know what is the competitor offering in that space, and then identify what I can offer there, which is not what competitors are offering, but is something that the customers need. Now, how do you define what customers want? I know there is paucity of time, and I'll just try to make it very quick, although it's require a session of its own, is for us to identify, put the patient funnel together. What are the number of population? How many are suffering from this population? How many are being treated? Okay, that tells you what is the potential of that specific category of customers. Okay, then comes the second step is identifying, okay, what is that something which is already being offered by the competition there. Once I'm able to plug that is when I sit with my brand and see, okay, what my brand offers the best and is not overlapping with the others. And when we are able to do that, is where that's the space we get to position ourselves, which is different from competition and still being relevant, super relevant to address what the customers want. So try to use this matrix and see it can help you get a direction of where how you can position your brand. If we can go next. Yes, this is just a summary of, one example that I wanted to call out. When we talk about customers want, we need to have those consumer insights in place to understand what are the unmet needs. For example, understand the pain point when you plot the journey of the patient and the customers or the doctors, okay? For example, this is a very classical example that we have seen being very successful in the industry already. What are the new age parents always wanting? We have had Johnson and Johnson for a very long time in the industry, providing us a range of products in baby care. Okay, but then there is this new age parents who are coming up and saying we want more transparency. We all know the issues that have happened with Johnson and Johnson powder. And after that, people have become more cautious, and parents especially, they want to know everything the product has. They want to have full transparency, and they want to look for a product which does not contain any chemicals or toxins. How is Johnson and Johnson, for example, which is the leader in the category? So I'm quoting, it has positioned itself over there in that space. They call themselves gentle and safe. Yeah, it's good, it's gentle, it's what's required, it's safe. But do you have any chemicals or not? Do you have any other elements that can harm my baby? I do not know. And that's exactly where Mamaearth came into existence. And it's something that's built that value proposition in this space, by calling out that we are not just gentle and safe, we have made without toxins, without any chemicals, with full transparency on what all ingredients goes into my product. And that is what is one of the ways Mamaearth has cracked in a very, potential category of baby care, crowded, and with giants like Johnson and Johnson playing over there. Okay. So this was one example I thought I would like to call out. And just to summarize, if we go next, it's about, when we talk about segmentation, targeting, and positioning, how when they come together, they can be brought alive through robust strategy in place and meaningful communication. And when that happens, you're able to build long-lasting equity with HCPs. And when that is being able to happen, is when you are able to drive that visibility in the minds of HCPs, not just visibility, but also relevance and being remembered for a lasting period. So this is what I had to share, given the paucity of time. Thank you so much. Happy to answer the questions that come.
Thank you, Samina. I think the examples which you have shared with us, cutting across FMCG as well as the pharma industry, is definitely position ourselves as you as a thought leader in terms of the knowledge that you have shared with us today. Really appreciate the insights that we are getting today, and I'm sure the viewers will be able to implement the learnings what exactly we have been discussing today. With that, I would also like to request all the participants to put in what are the top 3 learnings that they are getting today from this webinar, and how you would like to implement this in your brand plans. So what exactly are the top 3 learnings that you are gaining from the webinar today? Please put in the chat today. And this will definitely give us understanding in terms of how exactly are you feeling this webinar. And I see the chat is buzzing with people asking questions, and definitely we will get this answered with our speakers. There are questions which are being asked from Gaurav as well as Vikrant. And yes, we will take up these questions, Shifa, as well. I would request the speakers to have a look so that they are prepared till the time we get to announce the winners. The winners list is there ready with us. The key learning, what I have learned while I was talking with Dinesh, was about segmentation, how segmentation can lead to relevance, how relevance can lead to attention and visibility, and finally, it leads to increase in prescription. This obviously the examples which we have learned from Samina is definitely thought-provoking for us to implement this in our communication plan. And selecting the right communication plan, keeping customer persona in mind is very important. Doing a deep dive research in terms of what exactly are the behaviors or the psychographic of the customers is very, very important for us to position our brand in the right way. So there have been queries which are coming in from people that you will be giving this particular book to the speakers as well as to the winners. But how about us if we want to purchase this book? What exactly is the benefit that we want to give? So apart from that 5 bonus, the company would also like to give you a 20%, 25% discount on this particular book. And this book can be purchased on this particular link. You can use this coupon code and get a 25% discount. Not only this book, there are about 18 plus book which have been ordered by Subarao sir. You can go through it. I have been following him for more than 6 years, and we have been reading most of his books and found it to be very, very useful, relevant for pharma marketing. So the link for actually ordering this particular book is also there. But rest assured, we are also announcing the winners here. So this link, I would request my team to please put it in the chat. Thank you so much, Renuka. Right. So, whispering to AI, AI is something which is very relevant and the buzzword for today. And we will also request all of you to please share us the feedback about the quality of content that we have discussed today. What exactly you would like to listen from us, finding the relevant speakers to talk about that particular topic. My backend team has done a lot of work in terms of identifying the right set of speakers. We have team who has joined in from Mumbai, Sachin, Karishma, Vikram, who helped us identify the right level of speakers. Thank you so much for that. I'm also joined in with my tech team who has made this possible today. So my tech team include Surya, Renuka, Shravya, and Kiran, Abhinendra. Thank you so much for your effort. And your feedback matters a lot to us because we want to improve on what exactly we have been doing. Though this is the 16th webinar, and we would definitely like to take this to the next level, which should be of relevance to your business. So, a little about Medgini. Medgini, we started in 2012 with the whole objective of helping pharma companies to connect with chemists and doctors. Our main area is basically helping you drive the digital journey and also connect with you across three major platforms. One is awareness, availability, and visibility. So, keeping that in mind, we have worked with various large companies, helping brands grow to the next level. We have helped pharma companies in terms of visibility, IT solutions, availability, loyalty programs, awareness. We have also had the largest reach of chemists. So currently, while we talk, we have got about 5,68,000 chemists verified. We also do payout programs for the chemist. We also do merchandise activities, which is visibility activities for major brands in the industry, end to end, which is managed straight from design consulting. We have also done engagement activities for doctors. This purely comes from the feedback and the suggestions which we come from the customers. We have also developed chatbot solutions. So we are a tech-driven company which helps pharma companies to accelerate their digital journey. So with that, I would now like to also thank on behalf of Samina, Dinesh, all the participants who have been patiently there with us. Today being Saturday, you are eagerly waiting for us to share this knowledge. And my team would like to share the winners. So with that, I would also like my speakers to please have a look of the questions which are coming in. My team is getting the winners consolidated. These are the top three winners which we would like to announce. Yeah, so we have three winners who are going to get this particular book today. The first winner is Srivali. If you are there with us, can you please spotlight Srivali? She has been working with Novartis previously, and she was the first one to participate. And the second winner for today is Rahul Dixit. He's from Alembic Pharmaceuticals. He is the second person to respond to the survey. The third winner is Tanmay Thakkar. Congratulations, Srivali, Rahul, as well as Tanmay. Appreciate your participation, active participation. With that, I would also like to call upon Srivali, Rahul, and Tanmay. If you're there with us, can you keep your video on? And we would personally like to congratulate you.
Yeah, thank you, Team Medgini.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Tanmay, Shivali.
Thank you so much, sir.
And Rahul, Srivali, do we have? Are you there with us?
Yes, Ashish, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you all, and it was a great session. I mean, wonderful points to note down. I was just juggling with my pen and paper to just write down the points, especially Dinesh sir. Your valuable insights were really great. And thank you so much, ma'am Ansari, ma'am. Your experience speaks a lot. Thank you so much for the session. Thank you so much, Ashish.
Yeah, great. So Rahul, do we have you?
Rahul is not available.
Okay, great. So we'll probably call and inform him. Team, you can call the winners and take the required address so that the book can be dispatched to their doorstep. So with that, we would now like to take upon the questions which are coming from the participants. So there is first question which has come in. Let me pick it up from Gaurav. Gaurav, you have asked us like 6 questions. So which one do I choose? Dinesh sir, there is a question which is coming your way.
Yeah, I know. I have read that, and I would love to see Gaurav. Gaurav, इतना task दिया है तुमने, तुम्हारी शक्ल देखूंगा ना पहले. Where are you, Gaurav?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Hi,
You're there?
sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm here only.
Yes, Gaurav. Okay. So, I have seen your questions, Gaurav, and there are 6 questions, and maybe I'll try to answer, although I could not copy that, but maybe let me see if I can copy and articulate myself. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Let me write it somewhere.
So the first very interesting question which has caught my eye is how do you qualitatively identify if a brand has attained cash cow status? So that is definitely a wish list for any brand manager that the brand reaches the cash cow status. And how do you qualify that?
Okay. Gaurav, it's an interesting question. How a particular brand has achieved a cash cow status, because in terms of according to me, if the brand actually starts giving you a 40% of gross contribution, I think you are actually doing a good job. Right. However, according to me, when you in the current scenario, although cash cow is a very beautiful word and all those things, there's always a scope for you to expand the indications or expand the geographies and all those things. But having said that, I fundamentally feel that if your brand size, actually in some particular market, like I know there is one of my brand managers over here. There's one brand in that particular category which is a 55 crore brand, and the second brand is only a 9 crore brand. So whether that 55 crore brand actually has achieved a cash cow status, the answer is still no. The answer is still no, because there's a lot of scope for that particular brand also to progress, right? But having said that, there are different internal in my experience, uh, if you actually, I'll go internally, if your brand starts giving you profits, of around 40-50% internally, and if you actually have sustained your position almost for 3 years, which is 3x of your second competitor, I think you're doing a good job.
Great, sir. Actually, these questions are very relevant to my brand because I am in Sanofi and handling Lantus, who has already crossed 500 crore. Who has already crossed 500 crores. So I'm just very keen to know that because organization expectations are in a different league altogether, and I've been assigned this task to give it a edge because already we are the market leader. That's why my questions are like that only.
Correct.
So yes, you're right.
My suggestion always, first of all, I think it's a good job that you're handling one of the biggest brand of pharma industry, number one. Second is my sense is that, and let me tell you, in our lifestyle, in our lifespan, my dad itself, he used to, use Lantus, right? And I'm absolutely a huge fan of this particular brand. But coming to the point, whether Lantus can still be grown or not, the answer is definitely it can be grown. Because there are a lot of marketing things which actually we, sometimes because एक brand इतना बड़ा हो जाता है कि लगता है कि that it cannot be grown. But my sense is that it still has not achieved its cash cow. So your boss is definitely pressurizing you, which is good. Samina has raised the hand. Samina कुछ बोलना चाह रही है.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a few more points to what Dinesh sir already covered. One aspect, I think when we talk about cash cow, it takes us to the BCG matrix, and that's something, that brings into our heads. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And yeah, and sir has already touched base, when you are touching a more than 40% market share in the category, that's point number one. You are among the top 2 brands, point number 2. You are in a category which is not growing at more than 5 or 10%. Point number 3, you also already touched upon the EBITDA when it is more than 50%. I think that's point number 4. These are a couple of elements that comes together. And I think it's also investment when it is less than 10% of your total revenue. That means you're spending less and earning more. All of these, when they come together, it defines whether your product is a brand, is a cash cow or not. Having touch base on Lantus, I could make it out from your background already. Vishwa, I think the element here is what is the size of the anti-diabetic market today in volumes than value, number one. And second is what is the growth rate. If we see anti-diabetic, we are the capital, India is the capital for diabetes in the world. And the kind of growths that we see are not going to slow down for diabetes. So I honestly, agree with Dinesh sir. It's not a cash cow for the brand. It's not maturity stage. I think the brand can still have a lot of potential to continue to grow.
Hope Samina
Great.
doesn't become your
Thanks.
boss over a period of time, Gaurav. You have a tough time.
Right.
Nice,
Right,
nice
sir.
questions. So, Gaurav, with your permission, because of the paucity of time, obviously I'll share the contact details with the permission of Dinesh and Samina.
Yeah, we'll
And
connect offline, Gaurav. Don't worry.
continue your
No problem, sir.
discussion. Can I take other question from another participant? Will you
Yes,
allow
please
us?
go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav.
Thank you.
So there is a question which is coming from Vikrant, which I would like to ask Samina, how to differentiate between all the brands claiming to be toxin free.
Yeah. So I think that's a very interesting question. What I'll tell you is that Mamaearth began the trend of toxin free. And
Right.
then, the world starts following it, every brand starts talking about it. So again, the need comes in to go deeper and be able to further bring in the differentiation, which now is getting lost. So first mover advantage Mamaearth has. Everybody remembers them, for bringing in clean ingredients into the market that everyone, talks about. I think the other aspect that needs to be considered, when we are talking about it is going into specifics further, checking out the ingredients further and building onto it. For example, you can look at checking out the list of ingredients, what kind of fragrance has been used, or what kind of preservatives are being used, or what kind of materials are used, which are plant driven, if they are not, or are they irritant or not irritant. I think that needs to go further deeper. Don't go by buzzwords then, because that's something established by someone else. Following it may not give you traction. So probably go deeper there in terms of identifying the ingredients. Second element, I think, which also helps in building credibility in that space of skincare that I understand, with my limited understanding, I've not really worked in that category, is the certifications. Now there are certifications called Made Safe certificates. Then there are some other certifications, that comes in by different third parties that calls out that the products that the ingredients that you're using are clean ingredients. Now, these are some elements that can be used to further build on the credibility of your product claims that you are putting up. Now, these are some ways in which it can be done.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You have cleared some of my doubts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. And Vikrant, you are joining us from which location, if I may ask?
Sir, I am joining from Indore only.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining in. And we have one interesting question which is coming from Abhinav. Abhinav says there are misconception of many QLs about third-party manufacturing and branding promoting. There are thousands of PG companies, and how can we survive in this kind of situation? Dinesh sir, would you like to take it up?
Only one line: segmentation. You can't beat them from the bonus perspective. You can't beat them because we all face that. PG companies, they come in. I think knowing the customer well is the most important thing. And as Samina also highlighted that she took an example of anti-diabetic market. There are a lot of diabetic patients in India. So lentils definitely can survive. Similarly, there are a lot of doctors actually exist who even now, if you are able to segment them properly, I'm not denying that such doctors, they prefer the PG stuff because of the because of the discounts, because of the lurings and all those things. But ultimately it's a branding which plays an important role. Otherwise, top brands actually have stayed in the industry for a long time, for a long time. And once, if you talk about the quality part, that's what I'm saying. If you're able to segment the doctors properly, there are doctors, and we have seen in our in our tenure that they basically ask specific questions about quality, or you highlight about your quality in your communication. You
Right.
highlight if you are going towards their interest areas. And ultimately doctors, they need, they basically desire what they that the competition, that the industry knows about them or not.
Hmm.
So they definitely will have a doubt, and I'm not saying that we should not, we should counter that. But instead of countering that, when you keep on speaking about your brand, your quality, your effectiveness, if you have segmented it properly, and as Samina rightly highlighted about targeting and positioning, I think marketing will always rule. So these are all, industry has increased, but that doesn't mean the brands have degrown. The bigger brand, the brand which have got a huge equity, they actually will keep on growing. We have certain such kind of customers who basically are in, categorically in the rural segment, if I like to say, because in urban segments, still there is a scientific stuff which comes into picture. And having said that, I'm also operating in an extra urban market. I'm operating in a rural market, and in those particular market, the doctors, we have segmented it very, very well. We have spent time in that, and I think my request to each team member over here would be, let's stick to our marketing basics. Let's not, we'll not be able to counter that. We'll be able to talk about your USPs. We'll be able to talk about your technology, your science. And I can always name one product which I'm handling. So I'm pretty, excited to share this very, very emphatically that you can't beat that discount market. No need. You talk about your product, you talk about segmentation, you focus on the marketing fundamentals, you will win in the marketplace.
Perfect. So there's one tricky question which is coming your way, Samina. That's
Yeah.
coming from Vaibhav. He talks about during segmentation, how to clearly divide among specialty if same molecule use it in different indication.
Okay.
So
Okay. So the
Vaibhav
question
says,
is,
yeah,
when he's how do you define the different target specialties when you're using same molecule for different indication?
exactly.
That's where the role of positioning, my dear, comes in. So when you have a product which is targeted for different conditions, for example, if you are taking amoxiclav, okay, and amoxiclav syrup would sit for a pediatrician, amoxiclav tablets would sit for consulting physicians who treat infections, surgeons, and whatnot specialties. So when you position that for a surgeon, would you would position it for soft tissue infections, because when they deal with surgeries, I think that becomes an important piece. When you're dealing it with a pediatrician for an amoxiclav syrup, you would position it for otitis media, probably because that's one of the commonest infection the kids have, right, at a younger age. And when you're talking to a consulting physician, you would probably talk about, in general, different infections that happens at a generalized level, right? So a bacterial infection probably. So this is how same molecule, different specialty, when it is catering different needs over there. That's where, when you do positioning, it's important for you to know what the customer wants, what are the competition doing, and how you can do best over there, which is not overlapping with others. I think that's how I would like to answer it.
Perfect. I think you have hit the nail. And today, this particular webinar is self-satisfactory for me because In the chat, if you see the learnings which people are putting in, really shows the kind of value addition that our speakers have been able to make. And I'm sure they will be able to take this learning tomorrow in their particular brand growth story. So, any other questions you would like to take? I have one question from Shifa Nasar. He says that for someone who is new to the pharma industry, what are the most effective ways to quickly build valuable rapport with KOL doctors? Dinesh ji, you would like to take it up?
Hey, I think good to see that you are starting this journey, the brand management journey, and I'll go back almost 27 years back when I started as a representative, and for 2.5 years I was a representative. And during that time, it remembers when I was appearing for my first interview in Walter Bushnell as a product executive. I had a diary. Now you are AI guys. We had a plain diary, and where I had gone to the then president at that point of time, saying that I know these. I can be a value addition for you once I'm a pharmacy graduate. Secondly, I know about the field, and third is that I worked in Delhi, and I know these 50 customers. So these 50 customers who are of your specialty. I was working in, in CNS, gynae, and general practitioners at that point of time. I think, again, I would like to say is that it is extremely crucial for you to, one of the most important parameter is that we all conduct field work. In our day-to-day practice, around 8 to 10 days, we all do that. And I will, I'll go from a conventional method. Of course, Samina can add from a Gen Z method. But I'll talk about it. Please start collecting their visiting cards if they have. Number one, try to find time. What we do is that because we all as brand managers also ideally should not. We all also have to do 12 call average because we need to report to the organization. Blah blah blah. I think that's not your job, according to me. Your job is to get in consumer insight, and then when you are actually trying to spend time in the doctor's chamber, and then I remember there was a program in our organization, and Samina was also part of it, which is Feel the Pulse, which we used to spend almost a day in doctor's chamber, and we used to interact. We used to see what kind of patients are coming, of course, with permission of the doctors and all those things. There we used to spend a day with the doctor of each specialty, and as a result of which we used to know about him the way, again, it is an old way of segmentation, I would like to say, but still relevant, where we have to know the interest areas, know the engagement styles, know the prescribing behavior, so that we are able to communicate in the language which he or she wants to understand. I think that is the only way to build personal rapport, because I remember, and whenever I take interviews of the brand managers also, I ask them how many doctors actually personally. How many doctors? We ask these questions to the salespeople, but even to the brand management team. Because that actually tells that how much depth you are, how much effort you are actually making to understand the doctor very well. And if you understand the customer, then even if you're going to a other specialty, it doesn't make a difference because you have cracked the code. So that would be my suggestion to you, because that has helped me personally. Even now it helps. And I think my team members will agree with here that we are trying to build KOLs also like this in the organization through personal interaction, so that we are able to take the brands to the next level. That's the ultimate objective, but also to know their needs properly, so that we can drive all our marketing strategies, all our communication piece towards that. Hope I was able to answer.
Perfect. So you are emphasizing about quality over quantity and feel the pulse. Definitely, it's a big learning for me in terms of knowing and being there in the customer life to know exactly what are the moments of truth. So moments of truth in terms of how exactly is his reaction, what category of patient visits to him, and how he takes decision. So you are actually living the day at the customer side to understand what exactly he thinks and reacts. Right?
Yeah.
Based on which you are able to next define your positioning strategy, communication strategy, only if you know your customer.
Absolutely. Bang on.
Sir, can I talk? Sorry for
Yeah,
the
please.
question.
Hey, Shifa.
If your video is on, probably it'll help us identify you.
Sorry, sir, I can't on. I am in hospital, so I can't on my
No
video.
problem, no problem. Please go ahead, Shiva.
Sir,
Appreciate you joining
basically,
us.
yeah, thank you. Basically, I'm from Kerala. Currently, I'm in Coimbatore. So the thing is, I'm working in Novo Nordisk. So the thing is, what are the marketing strategy if we implement it? The ultimate thing, how the sales people are executing it. That is the matter.
Right.
So in KOL doctors, very rarely we can get appointment nowadays. And their meeting is only 1 minute, maximum 30 minutes, 30 seconds we can talk. So it is very difficult to convey our core message to doctors. If doctors know our brand name, they will not, have not enough time, because their OPs, if we are going to clinic also, their OPs are more actually. So, but the marketing team are very great doing their jobs and creating so many strategies, but in execution phase it is very it's completely different. What are they're invented so many days, they are putting effort and all, but it's very difficult in execution phase. It's very difficult for sales peoples. So in how we can I don't know how we can, any tips for that, for achieving like 2 to 3 minutes only we are getting, how we can catch so many messages to doctors, how we can connect to doctors.
Okay, Samina wants to take that, or shall I take it?
Anything is okay with me. So I
Yeah,
just
please
had a
go.
few just
Please go.
few points over. You covered it like comprehensively. I think I till now I was looking at it more from a brand manager perspective, but I think it's also coming from a sales team perspective as to when brand managers go in, they are able to get those time periods, special appointments and privileges, but that's something that doesn't generally happens for a salesperson. I think with brief experience that I've had in sales, I think one of the things, of course, KOLs differ from different categories, but then one thing that works very well with them is not sales pitching, but trying to understand their perspective and their knowledge on that specific topic. Starting the conversation that way itself helps in kind of positioning ourselves different from selling something. Okay, that's one. Now, the question here is not getting time. I think there have to be, you then need to find ways of trying to catch your most important top 2, top 5 KOLs outside their consultation space. And I think one of the places that gets, very interesting for them is the CMEs and those conferences and the industry, programs like Epicon, like Pedicon, or like, the cardiology, diabetology programs that happens at an annual level, maybe, or at a regional level. These are the places for you to be able to get some time from them, to catch hold them and try to have a conversation. Because if that's something practically, I feel one of the elements that can be tried out.
So, Shifa, thank you very much, Samina, for this, and let me wear a sales hat for this particular question and give an example. Shifa, again, I'll take you to couple of years back. In my experience, that doctors, of course, I was taking care of psychiatrists and neurologists, and there are other specialists also. And I'll take the clue from what Samina just spoke about. It is, meeting them out of their chambers, because in chambers it's difficult for them and they are very busy in their operations of the world, etc., and all those things. But again, I would like to give a very sales-oriented, suggestion over here. We basically, as brand management team, asks our team members to collect birthdays and marriage anniversaries of the doctors. It's so basic, right? Now, whenever, and I remember I was doing a survey in Abbott, and then I said that when they take they take the birthdays and marriage anniversaries of yours, what do you feel about it? He said 90% of people, they don't come. So what I'm trying to say is that one of the way which I have adopted, and it is, since I'm saying it is very cliche, but it works so wonderfully, is that knowing the customer's details. Because that is one of the way, one is of course the segmentation, what we have spoken since, for the last 1.5 hours. But second is knowing the doctor personally also. So my suggestion would be that, try to find out a place which is outside. If it is home, nothing like that. If you're able to, if the marketing teams are able to devise a strategy, if you're able to share, this kind of a concern with them, I'm sure that they definitely will have a brainstorming and come back to you with a very, very customized kind of a program. Because what Samina said, that if there are 5 doctors, 5 KOLs who are like this, and we've got 100 people, 100 representatives, we are talking about a 500 doctors, overall space. According to me, it is possible. However, it needs a different kind of a strategy. It needs a different kind of communication, whether it is scientific or at a personal level. That's what I would like to suggest, and it will definitely create a huge impact for your business.
Perfect.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help.
Thank you so much. And with that, we come to the end of the webinar. Heartfelt gratitude to all the people who have spent the day with us in terms of getting the insights from our speakers, Dinesh sir, and Samina. Your experience has really walked the talk today in terms of giving us these beautiful insights. My team is now trying to comprehend the conversations that we had today, also from the questions which has come from the participants, which we are going to translate in the form of an ebook, which will come to you your way by Wednesday or Thursday, as promised. The people who have won this particular books, along with our key speakers, Dinesh sir and Samina, the book is from Medgini, Gratitude for Your Time, and it is coming your way by next week. And with that, we would like to end this particular session. Over to Dinesh or Samina, if you'd like to put some last remarks.
Over to you, Samina.
Okay. I think it was a very exciting time I've spent connecting with, team colleagues from across, different parts of our industry of pharmaceuticals. And I think I'm happy I'm able to contribute and give them something, from the experience I have been able to gather, thinking of the challenges I have seen coming my way in those early days. I think I've been able to kind of try to give back something to the people.
Very much. Thank you so much, Samina. Appreciate your time.
And I would like to thank Medgini especially for, doing such amazing work and organizing such events. I think, I have not come across much of such events happening for these young guys in the industry, trying to find their way. I think, compliments to Ashish and the entire team for doing such amazing work.
Thank you, Samina. Appreciate.
Thank you.
So, okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much. It was an honor and privilege to interact with each one of you. I think such kind of programs, when we were interacting with Ashish and Medgini team, what we were thinking that we should be able to give you practical tips. Such kind of webinars actually, will not have any traction unless or until we start doing something from tomorrow. So my humble request would be, even if you have learned something, if Samina and me, we have been able to add at least 1% of value to your day-to-day work. If you're able to take top 3 things from here, and I would strongly recommend you to do that, please write it for yourself, implement it, and take help of your seniors, take help of such kind of presentations, take help of such kind of deliberations, and use the resources in a very, very customized way, because that will help you to become a better professional. Having said that, my only also one more request would be is that I've seen the brand managers burnout, which happens because we struggle to find the right levers. So, please spend some time and keep, I always keep on saying to my team, visualize what exactly is the outcome you want to achieve for a brand. And that if you're able to visualize it, I think you'll be able to do a fantastic job. But personally, I would like to, also thank Ashish, because he has been very patient and he has listened to, what exactly we were thinking. because it's because one is that one are the deliberations, but second is that what was the ultimate intent of that. I think he has been kind enough to incorporate all the presentations, because he also, according to me, is a very, very practical kind of individual, and who really wants to genuinely make a difference in each of our professional life. So very happy for this. Thank you very much to all the Medgini team. Thank you very much for even my team who has joined in. And Samina, fantastic. It was great interacting with you. Looking forward to see that if you are able to contribute more in one way or the other. Happy to connect with each one of you. If any one of you has any questions for Samina as well as me, we can always answer offline to best of our capabilities. Thank you very much, everyone.
So, participants, if you have anything more to ask, we will be happy to share the contacts of Dinesh sir as well as Samina, and they will be more than happy to help you to take your journey forward. Right. Thank you so much for being there with us. And the recording of this particular session will be loaded by Tuesday or Wednesday, and you will be able to catch up if in case you would like to revise the learnings which we have shared in today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you, team, for helping us craft this so beautifully.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.